This is the Dueling Piano Players Podcast, Episode 10. Welcome to the Dueling Piano Players Podcast, where we help you get the edge in the dueling piano world. My name's Johnny K.
My name is Joel Randolph.
We are online at duelingpianoschool.com.
It's true.
How you doing, Joel?
I'm doing great. How about you, Johnny K?
I'm doing okay. It's nice out, and it's not too hot, so I'm enjoying that very much. And we haven't talked since last week when we had your buddy Josh on the line here. That was a good time. But we've decided we're going to do these about once a week now. Today, we're talking about how to
be a good partner.
How to be a good partner. Something that I think we've both figured out how to do over the years. Once or twice.
Sure.
So let's.
It's an important thing. It's an important thing to discuss and for people to hear about and think on, because until you've been at it a long time, you don't really recognize that there is a need for that. And it's something I like to stress for certain right off the bat. Once you get somebody's legs underneath them, you got to start showing them how to help that other player. And I think we should talk about some of the concepts that you and I know work and are effective to the show and easy to do just because it's mostly in your head.
Yep, and something we didn't write down here in the notes, though, was why it's important to be a good partner. So, what do you have to say about that? I'd like to hear your take.
I was going to hear what you had to say about that.
Okay, why? Because, you don't want to go crazy on stage. You want to make money. You want to walk off stage with a sense of fulfillment that you've done a good job and that you've entertained your crowd. And it's important. It helps the show keep going. It helps the drinks being sold. It helps... you're getting your paycheck at the end of the weekend. All that stuff helps.
Speaking of entertaining the crowd, and you're right on all those points, but these a few ideas on just how to tear a show apart as far as what are the responsibilities of each individual player, not even getting into yet what the team's focus should be, but just the individual players during each set. If you follow certain concepts, it makes the show real easy to flow from one part of the show to another, and it gives your overall appearance a much more professional look, like you'd been practicing those moves exactly for 100 years, and that gives your audience more of a feeling they saw something impressive rather than just a couple guys schlocking it together. And it has nothing to do with this, at least in this discussion, with your musical ability. It's just how to work together without ever having worked together.
Right. So the first part of this, I guess the most important thing you can do as somebody's partner, your number one job is make your partner look good.
Right. I think that is the key, the thing to remember the whole time. Now, what that takes, well, that can mean different things at different times in the show, and certainly with different partners.
Well, I think that being the focus of, your job, if you ever think about, well, what's my job? Well, to make your partner look good. That's what his job is, to make you look good. And everything we have to say from here on out is basically ways to accomplish that job, how to make your partner look good. So that's like a major heading for the rest of these we'll call subheadings. And under this, we're talking about if your partner's leading a song, you're supporting, you're comping, and you are playing what fits with their song. And
pay attention to what it is they're trying to do with whatever song that they're playing. You'll hear us refer to a bag of tricks, and songs can be used as tools to move the audience in the direction that you want, or the show rather. And if you're just playing some type of feel-good, tap your foot kind of music, then make sure you do a lot of good music playing with them. If what they're doing is to get the crowd rousy and hand clapping, then you need to be up helping them get the hands clapping. If they're trying to get people on stage, you need to be out there getting those people up on stage so your partner can move on with what the show is supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. There's a number of different ways that you can just be, a supportive partner just by, like you said, clapping your hands or, throwing them requests, or if you've got a drum kit around and they need you on drums for something, you can do that. That's how you make your partner look good no matter what. You don't give them the sense that they're doing a bad job and you're better. You definitely don't do that because you guys work together as a team. So your number one job, making your partner look good, supporting, and when you're leading a song, leaving room for your partner to actually play with you, right?
Absolutely. You need to be conscientious that even as you're backing your partner's moves, that they're hopefully trying to back your moves. So you need to be clear in what those are. And if you're playing in such a way that you're all up and down the piano, that's not going to leave them room to do anything except clutter that mess up. So you'd better be doing some kind of song where they're out clapping and not needed on the piano. If that is a musical tune, then you need to be leaving room for them to play. Think about the fact that there's somebody over there performing with you, and lead the song in such a way that they can be useful to you.
And that brings us to, the other part of paying attention to your partner. Paying attention all the time. Don't be thinking about anything else that's going on. Be in the moment. Be focused on what you both are doing on stage, or what the four of you may be doing on stage. And also communicating. You need to be able to communicate with each other in a way that is effective for the two of you. As if you're saying, you're leading a song, you're leaving room for your partner to play, and he doesn't know what to play. So you have to come up with a way to be able to communicate. Here's what I'd like you to do, or here's what I'd like you to play. And sometimes that involves taking massive action in the form of, hey, do this.
That tends to happen over time. It's really tough with people that you're not used to working with, especially if you haven't seen a lot of action in the dueling piano theater. That once you've played with a group of guys a lot, or even with lots of groups of guys or gals, and certain things become obvious to do, like nod at somebody, and that means you can play a solo that wouldn't be so obvious to somebody that's a rookie. And I think an important thing to keep a way to attack it. You have to have your mind in the game. You need to pay attention to what's going on around you. And if your partner is raising their eyebrows and staring at you with some intent look, understand that they're trying to communicate something to you. And if you're paying attention to what's going on, hopefully you'll figure out what that is. If they're playing some really slow, pretty song at the beginning of the night and the snare is rattling away, and they're sitting there with raised eyebrows and keep looking at the drum set, you should be aware that, that snare sounds pretty annoying. That's probably what they're trying to tell me to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of communication you can do with body language, simple little looks, drumsticks, etc.
Well, obviously when you're the one trying to mentally stimulate somebody with psionics, then you can't understand why they don't understand what you mean. But when it's the other way around, I remember playing. Well, to me this seemed obvious, but we'll see. Person was starting Piano Man. I was player number 2. My partner was starting Piano Man, but I'd left my bag with my harmonica on the other side of the stage. The other piano player happened to be standing there, so I got his attention and looked at my bag on the other side of the stage. And he looked at it and said, "What?" And I looked at the bag on the other side of the stage, pointed at my mouth. He what? Long story short, I had to go over and get the harmonica myself out of the bag. But hey folks, it's Piano Man. I'm supposed to be playing a harmonica, and I'm not.
Did you get to that point where you actually started playing the song and he went, "Oh, something's missing"?
No, didn't happen. It didn't happen. Frustrating. And that's now on the flip side of that, not flip side of that, just another story that you have to be aware of what's going on. I was trying to tell, I was in the back, and players were on stage, and one of the guys' microphone was not loud enough. So I kind of snuck to where I could be, where the other piano player could see me, and I waved my hand, and he smiled and nodded at me, and I pointed at that piano player, and then at my mouth, and then up. And the guy smiled and nodded at me and waved. And I said, no. Pointed at the piano player and at my mouth and up. And he nodded at me And I went around. I went up there by the soundboard. I said, "Never mind, I'll do it myself." And this had been going on for months. And I'd even at meetings been talking about, you need to have your mind in the game, you guys. And finally, when I got just furious with him after the show that night, he said, "What? I didn't." He has glasses. He says, "Oh, I can't see you when you're in the back of the room like that. I just know that there's somebody back there waving at me, and I can't tell what." I said, "Oh, doggone it." So,
well, there you go.
I guess it would have been nice to communicate, without some hand signals that I just made up in the middle of the night. But point being, if you see somebody pointing that guy, piano, up, you need to figure out, hey, probably the piano needs to go up.
Right. Something needs to happen. There's some kind of communication happening, and we need to decide what all these things are going to mean.
Do not. That's how the drumstick thing got invented. Do not just stare off blindly into space and at the corners and watch the fan and the blinky lights when your partner's playing a song, because they're going to stop at some point.
And you're not
going to be staring at the blinky lights, right? Right. Be aware of what's going on around you right now. Right now.
So another way that you can become a better partner, or just focus on being a better partner, doing a better job, making your partner look good, is talking about the goal you have for your set, maybe setting a goal for your set, and then being focused on that goal. And part of being focused on that goal is being able to set your partner up. But before we get to that, having a goal, Joel, you and I used to do this when we played together. We'd look around the room, we'd see what's going on. We said, what do we want to do? Let's start off by rocking them real crazy, bring them down for a little bit, give them a chance to breathe, throw some funny stuff in there, and then end the set by rocking them out again and have a nice little rise and fall. I know we used to talk about stuff like that. That was our goal setting experience for the hour.
I think that's really important, especially for the traveling player, because different clubs not only have different clientele, but also the show times are at different times, or longer or shorter, and you need to, you need to know how you're going to pace your own show to last the entire night. But I always found it useful, Johnny, when you and I would get together and discuss, and with any other players that were willing to do it, meet up by the bar 5 minutes before you're supposed to start and see, do we have an up crowd? Do we have a down crowd? Do we need to bring them up? Do we need to bring them down? And pick out your first 4 or 5 songs each that you're going to do. By that time, you're halfway through the set. And I've never seen that fail, not one time, when the two players go up there united with what their focus is for that set, at least the beginning of it. It works every time.
And we used to do that starting out the night, especially with the happy hour stuff. But even halfway through the night, we'd sit there and talk about, okay, what did we leave on the pianos after that last set? Or what has come up in their set that we need to be aware of? And what can we do with what's up there? Or do we have a good idea of where this crowd already needs to go? Maybe they're crashing and burning. What can we do to pick them up? Or maybe they're having such a good time that, okay, they're having a good time, they're not going to want to keep doing that. So what can we do to bring them down? Maybe a bit, maybe a call down. That's the kind of stuff that we talk about. And I still talk about that kind of stuff to people I play with to this day. I notice also setting a goal for your set makes your set fly by, keeps you focused, keeps the good energy up. You don't get worn out. You don't get tired. And the crowd is entertained, and there's no dead air. And staying focused on that goal and being aware of the goal that you have, instead of walking up there with no clue and then trying to think every song that comes up, what should I do? What should I do?
Yeah,
now you have a goal.
If you both talk about it first, and you're up there with that same, not only are you bumbling around trying to figure out what you want to do, but you are both trying to do that same thing. And I think I can recall a time, Johnny, correct me if I'm wrong, but when I was working with some of you guys back at Rum Runners in Lansing, and got my good friend Jeff Puskowski came back for a little while, and I was trying to tell you guys, now watch what happens when I knock the ball to him and he knocks it back and we knock it again. And it was, effortless at that time, because he and I had worked together for a long time, so it wasn't so much that we were discussing beforehand, but the idea of what we expected out of each other as partners was obvious, and it played so smoothly, and it was such a good time for me and for him both, not only because we hadn't seen each other, but just because the set flew by so smoothly, like you said.
Yep, and that kind of segues into the next idea here of setting your partner up. You know, knowing what songs are coming up on your side that your partner does, throwing those songs to him, and then giving him a great way to play that song. It's just something that I think gets lost a lot of times. People don't think about the idea of actually setting up your partner. They're just throwing you songs. I don't know this, you play it. Instead of, you do a good job with this, and I think that'd be really cool after this song. Even though I played that song, play that after this song, and we're going to look really good.
And that's having your head in the game and making your partner look better right there. You make yourself look better by not playing a song you know your partner could have done better sometimes, and vice versa, taking it off their hands when they can't do it some night because they're sick or just for, you know, their piano's not working right or whatever reason. Being there to back them up on those parts.
And see, what we're doing here is kind of breaking down the simple idea of making your partner look good into all these different sections. They kind of become their own subcategories for all this stuff, but it's really the best way, the simplest way to get the most out of what you can absolutely do as playing as a good partner.
Countless examples. I could see this topic being revisited again and again. In fact, anytime we get a third party on the phone, we should ask them and have a little discussion on what they think this is, because there is probably no one right way to do it other than you're supposed to be helping.
Now, the other thing I want to talk about, and this is probably one of the last things to talk about, but it's playing the other side. Like making fun of some guy's shirt in the audience, something that you have done very well in the past, I might add, that I've learned how to do from watching you. But if we're both making fun of the guy's shirt and then we get the audience laughing at him, we're just a couple of bullies in a schoolyard picking on the guy. And I think, you know, having you make fun of his shirt and me going, hey, wait a minute, you know, maybe he doesn't get paid that much and he has to go somewhere else, or, you know, just playing the other side. But a couple of good examples of playing the other side are like when you're doing fight songs. You know, you're not going to be, you know, cheering for Duke and North Carolina. You're not going to be cheering for Michigan and Michigan State. One guy's got to be one guy, and the other guy's got to be for the other team. Or when you're doing your country and your rock battles, or some of the other bits that we've talked about earlier, like the Yo Mama jokes and the Confucius and some of that stuff. If you got something worked out.
Makes it easier.
It makes it easier if you can play the other side, and you know you split the room in half, and you get people excited about specific things. You know, your Sweet Carolines and your Bad Leroy Browns, and you get them battling. You can't battle each other. You can't duel each other if you're constantly appearing to be on the same page. So it's nice to play the other side and, you know, maybe call your partner out for something and say, no, don't say that, man. And then you get half the room on your side. He's got half the room on the other side, and somebody's going to be happy all the time.
That's not really contradicting your partner. That's keeping the energy going again. That's one of the things that we do as duelers, is pit one side against the other. And it's no good to have just the one side and not the other. So that's where duel with them. Duel them.
Absolutely. Otherwise, you guys are just sitting there. And I mean, you know, the whole fight song battle, you just go back and forth, and it's these two guys, and all of a sudden they're best friends again, and we've moved on, and everybody's sitting there going, crap.
It's just the love
suckers
all together.
But, you know, I mean, that's what makes it fun. That's what keeps it entertaining, keeps it interesting, and it gives you an opportunity to share a lot of jokes, have a lot of fun, and drink with everybody, and just, you know, really kind of set yourself up for success by playing the other side. You get somebody on your teams. No, not everybody's going to think exactly the way you do. They're going to think the way your partner does sometimes. And if you're not playing that other side, then you're kind of screwing the guys that are thinking the way you are.
They should enjoy it no matter which side they're for.
So
they should all be entertained.
So let's recap a little bit. We talked about your number one job is making your partner look good by supporting and leaving room for your partner to play when you're leading a song, paying attention, communicating. Something we didn't really touch on was staying off of bass lines, blending musically, and
that's keeping your mind in the game and making your partner look better. If they're over there playing a nice bass line and all you know how to do is hold your pedal down and beat on an E, you're not being very conscientious by doing that to that person. And conversely, if your partner is playing a very simple groove and you're just throwing all kinds of arpeggios and solo licks through the whole song, that's not having your head in the game and making your partner look better or sharing the focus of the goal.
Exactly. And that's paying attention, focusing on the goal, setting your partner up, and playing the other side. But being a leader, communicating, all these things are very important to be a good partner player. And we hope that you take into account some of this stuff, listen to it, write it down, think about it next time you get on stage, and
make some comments, ask us some questions. We need some new material for Ask a Pro.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't had too many questions come in a while, but I think we're trying to do a good job of answering those in the podcast. So if you have something that you would like to ask, feel free to just log into the site, post it online, or you can email us at admin@duelingpianoschool.com. And before we close out, I wanted to mention there's a lot of great footage floating around on YouTube these days. There's a lot of guys that are doing a lot of cool things in clubs, and it's ending up on YouTube. If you've got a video that you would like us to feature so everybody can actually get a chance to see it, we'll put it right on our homepage there. Just email us, admin@duelingpianoschool.com. We'd be happy to slap that up there for you, get you a little exposure. And, then you can tell your friends exactly where to find it instead of, just search through YouTube and just, write down the specific thing and take 20 minutes to find it. No, we'll just put it right on the homepage. It'll be a lot of fun. Plus, we'd like to see some of these. And
who are you?
I think they're fun, So I guess that's about it for today. Anything else?
Not me.
Rock and roll.
DuelingPianoSchool.com.
We'll see you next time. I'm Johnny K.
I'm out. I'm Joe Randolph.
Bye-bye. DuelingPianoSchool.com.